Good afternoon, everybody. Today, I am going to be making cowboy soup. So what you're going to start with is you're going to start with a pound to a pound and a half of hamburger meat. We're going to brown this. You're going to need 2 small to medium potatoes, cubed, smallish cubes. You're going to need a can of pinto beans. I use chili beans. It just makes it easier. A can of sweet corn. You're going to need a can of diced tomatoes. You're going to need one of the small cans of tomato sauce. You're going to need 3 cups beef broth, beef stock, or even chicken if you don't have beef. You're going to need a small onion along with bell pepper. I use my seasoning blend that comes in and I just keep it in the freezer. I'm going to season with salt, pepper, Cajun seasoning, some chili powder, some paprika, garlic, and my crazy mixed up sauce. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get this browned. I'm going to put my seasonings in it and my vegetables, so give me just 1 minute. Okay, so now that I got the meat kind of thawed out, because of course I forgot to take it out in time, so I'm going to go ahead and put my onions and bell pepper in here. And this is probably, like I said, a small onion and half a bell pepper. And I've got red and green in here. If you got fresh, then, that kind of just brightens it up. And then I'm going to go ahead and add my seasonings. You're just going to sprinkle. I'm sorry, I never really measure anything because seasonings are a lot of times to taste. So I like to, while my meat and vegetables are cooking, I like to just put down a layer of my seasonings to just kind of, get it started. So with the Creole seasoning, I'm just going to put a little. That's just kind of just to kick up the flavor a little bit. And I'm going to put my garlic. And then I'm going to put some of my crazy mixed up salts. And I know, and that's another reason. Sorry. Another reason I don't put too much salt, because this mixed up salts have a good bit of salt in it. The Tony Chachere's has a good bit of salt. Sorry. So we're going to put a good bit of paprika. That's what adds kind of the smokiness to your cowboy soup. And then we're going to put some chili powder. Okay. Now, just going to get this stirred up. And then we're going to let this finish browning, get the vegetables all clear, and then we're going to start adding everything in. And this is a one-pot meal. It's quick. It's easy. Once the meat is all browned, you're probably having a cook time of maybe 30 minutes or so. Okay, so once you get your meat browned and your vegetables are all clear, you're going to go ahead and start adding everything. Now, your corn you are going to drain. Your beans, if you have pinto beans in the can, go ahead and drain that. But since I'm using chili beans, just because I like the flavor, you don't drain that, of course. Okay, and then you're going to put it in your can of diced tomatoes. It don't really matter what kind, whatever kind you prefer. A can of tomato sauce, your 3 cups of broth, stock, beef, chicken, whichever you have. I would just say that versus just water, just simply because it's going to add to your flavor. Now, what I normally do is I get a can and I fill it with water, or just halfway of water, so I can get the rest of the tomato sauce out. And then that way you just add a little extra water as well. Now, we're going to let this come to a boil, and we're going to taste it and see if it needs anything. So it's going to cook for about 10 minutes. Taste it, see if I need to add any salt, any more chili powder, any of that. And then I'm going to put my potatoes in there, and I'm going to cover it, and I'm going to let it cook for about 20 minutes until the potatoes are fork tender. So let me get this done, and I will be right back. Okay, so it's been 10 minutes. I tasted it. It tastes fine for right now. I am going to add my potatoes in here. And again, this is about 2 small potatoes, chopped small. Now we're going to cover this back up. I'm going to put it on simmer. Now, because I'm cooking on my little cook stove, because I'm in my tiny home, I'm going to put this on about medium. Now, if I was on a stove, a regular stove, I'd probably put it to a medium low. So I'm going to cover this back up, let this cook for about 20 minutes. Taste it again and see if the potatoes absorb some of the salt or the seasonings, and we will go from there. Okay, so it's been about 15 minutes and I tasted it, and I will admit that it got a little bit salty, and I think it was because I did use the Cajun seasoning, salt, and my crazy mixed up salt. So, but this is a good learning moment. If something tastes too salty, you can add a little bit of sugar, just add a little bit at a time. So I put maybe a half a teaspoon in here. Just stir it up, let it cook about another 2 or 3 minutes and taste it. The sugar will help neutralize some of that salt. And again, I mean, it's not so salty I couldn't eat it as is, but I'd prefer it not to be quite that salty. So I'm going to cover this, let it cook a few more minutes, taste it again, and see if I need to add any more sugar or possibly a little bit more chili powder. I might add a little bit more of that. But I'm going to taste it again and we'll see. Okay, so I let that cook for another 5 minutes. I tasted it. That little bit of sugar did help get rid of the saltiness. I added a little bit more chili powder, but it's got a little bit of a kick to it now, so I didn't want to add too much to that. Now, I did also remember that I used the beef stock instead of the beef broth. So the beef stock's going to be thicker, number one, and it's also going to have a little bit stronger flavor. So that, that could have done it too. So when you're cooking, if you've got beef stock on hand, beef broth, use that. But if you don't mind a little bit of a stronger flavor, a little bit more saltiness to it, then the beef stock is fine. Again, chicken stock is fine. Chicken broth is fine. Just anything to kind of like just add flavorful liquid and not just water. So I'm going to give this a taste now. And as you can see, I've got potatoes, I got my meat, I got my beans. So this is just a nice hearty meal, all in one pot. Even though I'm in the South, in Alabama, Mother Nature decided to kick in the door and gonna give us some more cold weather because it was 90, like 80s, 90s last week. And then last night and then tonight is getting back down into the 40s, 50s. So I decided let's make soup one more time just in case this is our last little cold snap. So I'm gonna give this a little taste. Ow, and it's hot. Besides being really hot, it tastes really good. It's a perfect meal. It's got, like me with my meat and potatoes. It's got all of it. It's got meat, potatoes, it's got your beans. It's nice and warming, comfort food. If y'all have any questions, let me know. If not, enjoy, y'all.